Hey folks, I'm back. I have updated K Factory. This time I have learned from all of the feedback from the last round. So the big thing from the last iteration was, gosh, this user interface is really clunky. It's just hard to work. This time on this pass, I decided to just scale all that back and go something like way more standard. This version, I've just got a regular mouse cursor. I hover over stuff. And there's now tooltips over everything. So any part that I hover over, I get a little thing saying what it is, which is super useful. If I right click, then I get some stone. We do that and I can make my dirt sifter. This has really been about constraints. So the last version of this game is a little bit too unconstrained. Like buildings can kind of fall all over the place. It just got to be too much. Now on this version, I've really pulled everything back. I've kind of trying to go with this like science fiction, like everything sort of floats in the mid-air kind of style. Buildings no longer fall. And that just, as a programmer, that makes everything so much easier for me. And I just realized that I was not really getting much out of buildings being able to fall. We don't do that anymore. Now the only things that can fall are like resources. If I take some coal here and I put it in my inventory and I place that in my like dirt sifter, I can also pick this up out of here and I can take it and put it into my dirt sifter, and now it's going to start operating on it and it'll turn it into some iron ore, right? And I've got this here too, and I'll make a stone furnace. Now everything floats. It does. The artwork looks a little bit weird, I admit. I'm still not really sure. I think I'm going to end up redesigning a bunch of this later on. But again, like this is just one kind of iteration. It's like one pass around the full circle of all of this. The new design constraint is buildings float. Like, don't care what your opinion is, like buildings have to float. There's really no other way that that's gonna work. It's gotta be that way, pretty darn sure of it. Anyway, I've got some iron plates here. I added a few other things to this. Now I've got selection projector. I kind of don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty interesting what you can do with it. The thing that I did want to talk about though is magnets. So I'm going to make a few more of these iron plates here. And this stacking is still not perfect. I'm not super happy with it. Another thing too is if I press Q and I hover over something, then I can just put that in my cursor, and if I press Q it'll go away again. So that's like super useful if I just need to put something in the cursor. So I think a magnet is 5. Now magnets are starting to go kind of in a direction that I'm interested in for this game. So what I really want to do in this game is I want for the different crafting materials to, like their physicality has something to do with, or their properties have something to do with what can be done with them or how they can move around. An example here is this, like with magnets, how do they work? Here's how magnets work. If I have some iron plates, right, it'll pull up the iron plate. Things that are like metallic that you would expect to have kind of like magnetic properties, they get pulled up, but things that are not don't. Where I'm going with this is some kind of industrial process that, let's say that I put this here, I put like an iron plate here, and I put like that there. If I grab that, oh, well, that can't happen. That's not allowed, although that's kind of fun. Anyway, the point being, looks like I've got a bug on my hands. Well, I guess I just found a bug. Point is, certain things, if they are magnetic, they will get pulled up. If they're not, they won't. And that's going to have something to do with this assembly line process. It might be a way of separating things that are on a conveyor belt or like on an assembly line. On one side is mixed things, and then on the other side is clean separation between things that are magnetized and things that are not. Factorio, you've got splitters that take on that role. But in this game, I don't really want there to be anything like that. I want there to be it to be more like environment based or more like property based, like property of thing that's in the world will then determine how you can split it. So it's going to be more about solving those kinds of problems, like you having to realize, oh, this is a production line that has metal stuff on it. I want to have a way to separate metal things from things that are not metal. That's sort of the direction I'm going in. That's kind of like the space I'm carving out for it. That's this iteration. After, of course, I fix this bug, the next thing for me to do is get a WebAssembly slash WebGPU version out. Basically, right now, I'm just field testing a lot of different game ideas that I have on itch.io. And the one that's like the most popular is the one that I'm going to fully make on Steam. And I can't really test whether or not any of these are viable if I don't have web versions, because you just don't get as much traffic. Pretty much for every game prototype that I'm currently trying out, I'm going to do another pass on it. I'm going to make it playable on the web. And then basically whichever of all of those ends up getting the most traffic is the winner, and that's the one that I'm going to put on Steam. Really just still field testing a lot of these different ideas. That's where this game is. If you want to give it a try, play test it, give me your thoughts, definitely do so. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll see you next time.